It's hard to believe that it's been almost 20 years since we first played the classic original Pokémon games. And that's because it probably hasn't been that long. The series wasn't released outside of Japan until '98. Nevertheless, the franchise is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year, and Nintendo will be kicking it off by re-releasing Red, Blue, and Yellow on the 3DS's Virtual Console. I'm actually finding it kinda hard to be excited about this though. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love these games, but even amid the fancy faceplates and the package deals, there are some really simple things that Nintendo is just leaving on the table, and a few really awesome things they could do that would give us much better reason to venture Kanto one more time. So I'm Josh Wallen, and this is the Geek Critique, the top 5 reasons not to get hyped for the Pokémon re-releases. Number 5. Oh, to finally rekindle the nostalgic glory of the first generation. No contests or breeding, nary a pair of running shoes in sight. Pure, basic Pokémon, just like I remember it. Actually, that's not how I remember it. I mean, it might be how you remember it, but I played Blue on the Game Boy Color, and it looked like this. I know this is the nittiest of nitpicks, and we'll get to the bigger stuff in a sec, but it's not like they're targeting new fans with these releases. They're going after the 20 and 30-somethings who were kids back when these games came out, and they want to sell our childhood memories back to us for $9.99. But I never played Pokemon in black and white. None of the Game Boy Virtual Console titles have any color options or Super Game Boy support, and it doesn't look like Pokemon will be any different. Would it really be so difficult to implement an option screen? But no, more than likely, Red and Blue will be monochrome, Yellow will retain its Game Boy Color palette, and a little bit of your nostalgia, which is a huge part of the reason to replay these games, will just have to take the hit. Number 4. I remember spending 7 straight hours one Saturday in 1999, laying on the floor of my room playing Pokémon Yellow. Alas, most of us first-gen Pokémon fans don't have that kind of time anymore. If I only have a few minutes to spare, I need to make it count. We know that unlike most Virtual Console releases, these titles won't have save states, which is a perfectly reasonable move. So why not replace that with Stadium's Doduo and Dodrio speed options that let you blitz through the game exponentially faster? One tap of the touchscreen, and it's so much less of a grind. Or, better yet, number 3. One of the coolest things I ever saw was Pokémon Stadium, a Nintendo 64 game that actually let you connect your Game Boy game to the console. Finally getting to battle the Pokémon I'd spent so much time with in 3D was amazing, and nowadays it wouldn't really mean as much. Nonetheless, Stadium was awesome, and considering the 3DS can link to the Wii U, how's about a Virtual Console version of Stadium? It'd be worth it just for the easier box management and storage space. The speed options would be right there, and most importantly, mini-games. Did anybody else love these as much as we did? Seriously, come to think of it, without Stadium, there won't even be a way to play the Surfing Pikachu minigame in Yellow. Now keep in mind that up till now, this list has only advocated ideas that would restore functionality that was in the original games. Well, here's where the ideas start getting a little bigger, because there's another path to 3D battles. Number 2. Make Red, Blue, and Yellow on 3DS compatible with Pokémon Bank, allowing you to bring any Pokémon from the classic games into the current generation. I hear the protests already. The data structure isn't compatible, there aren't any abilities or natures, even the stat balancing is different. And yeah, that's all true, but it could be done. In fact, it has been done. There are guides and even programs that let you convert first-gen Pokémon and inject them into a Generation 3 save file. But it's not just that it could be done, it's that it should be, and here's why. Think of how many people are out there that might be derisively referred to as Gen 1ers. People who only ever really played Red and Blue, and stopped following the series after that. Those people are part of the target demographic for this re-release, and from that perspective, knowing that I'd be able to use my old favorites in the newest Pokémon games would give me a ton of incentive to actually try them out. Nintendo stands to bring a huge market of old school fans to the current gen. On the flip side, to me, it'd give me much more of a solid reason to play through the originals again. The whole idea of the bank was that you'd never have to leave a Pokémon behind. But maybe Nintendo doesn't want to do any of these things. Maybe they think that converting Pokémon would be too complicated, that giving us speed and color options would ruin the aesthetic or some crap, and that Stadium just wouldn't be worth it. Well, even if that's the case, there is one thing that they could do that would guarantee I would be so much more hyped than I am. And it wouldn't even be as complicated as most of what I've said here. Number 1. Look, Pokémon is a social game. The whole reason it was created was to showcase an innovative use of the Game Boy's link cable. Before Pokémon came out, hardly anybody I knew even had one. But when it hit, boom, overnight, link cables became ubiquitous. Part of what made it so special was the camaraderie, the friends you'd make, the enemies you'd make, all centered around this adventure. Now the VC ports will use the 3DS's wireless functions to replicate the link cable, and that's great. Can you imagine how badly they'd miss the mark without that? But, well, here's the problem. The original Pokemon fans, like I said earlier, we're adults now. We don't have the kind of time we used to, and we're never forced into a situation where we get to hang out with our friends anymore. In the past few years, my friend circle has become more of a friend universe, as people have gotten responsibilities like jobs and relationships, or just move far away. We're really lucky if we all get together even once a month. Fortunately, we do still keep in touch. Do you know how we keep in touch? The internet. You know what these ports aren't gonna bother having? The internet! I would gladly sacrifice everything else on this list if I could trade and battle in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow online. Guys, I don't feel like I'm asking for the moon here. I'm not looking for like global trade systems or tournaments or even random battling. I mean, if all you could do was establish a one-to-one connection with somebody on your friends list, I'd be satisfied. More than that, I would be hyped. But what do you guys think? Is there anything else Nintendo could do that would get you excited for these ports? Or are you looking forward to them the way they are? Let me know in the comments. Check out the Patreon if you'd like to help me keep doing this, but if giving money to strangers on the internet just isn't your thing, still give the video a thumbs up, or a thumbs down, I mean it's up to you. Check out my other episodes, subscribe so you don't miss them, like the Facebook, follow the Twitter, and, I don't know, upvote the subreddit. And you keep geeking, I'll keep critiquing. Thanks for watching.